Imagine for a moment a person who cannot be threatened. You cannot threaten them with exile because they find sanctuary in solitude. You cannot threaten them with poverty because they have learned that their worth is not tied to what they own. You cannot threaten them with the loss of status because they don't look to the crowd to tell them who they are. In the eyes of a society built on the leverage of fear, this person is the most dangerous individual in the room, not because they are violent, but because they are unmanipulatable. They have removed the handles that the world usually uses to pull people into line. They have achieved the rarest form of power. They need no one to validate their existence. The world is built on a foundation of mutual dependency, which is often masqueraded as community or connection. But if you look closer, you'll see that much of what we call social harmony is actually a web of invisible leashes. We are trained from the moment we enter the school system to crave the gold star, the nod of approval, and the seat at the popular table. We are taught that being alone is a failure and that needing people is our greatest virtue. But what happens when a human being quietly steps out of that game? What happens when you realize that the belonging offered by the herd is actually a cage built of compromises? Psychology tells us that the most dangerous person is the one who has mastered their own internal world. Most people are other-directed, meaning their internal compass is constantly spinning, trying to align with the expectations of those around them. They are like moons, reflecting the light of someone else's sun. But the sovereign individual, the one who truly loves their own company, is a sun. They generate their own gravity. They don't need your approval to feel significant, and therefore, you have no power over them. This is why society reacts to the self-reliant person with a mixture of awe and intense discomfort. Your independence is a mirror that reflects everyone else's captivity. To understand why this level of independence is so threatening, we have to look at the social leverage system. Society functions by managing the needs of its members. If you need a job to feel secure, the system has leverage. If you need a partner to feel whole, the dating market has leverage. If you need a group to feel safe, the collective has leverage. The moment you decide that you are already whole, you become a system error. You are no longer predictable. You cannot be shamed into compliance because your self-esteem is not hosted on a public server. It is stored on a private internal one. When you stop seeking external validation, you effectively shut off the remote control that others have been using to navigate your life. This radical independence is often born from a specific psychological transformation. It starts with the realization that crumbs are not a meal. Many of us spend decades over-functioning for people who wouldn't walk across the street for us. We bend our boundaries, we silence our truths, and we perform roles just to keep the peace. But eventually, something breaks. You reach a point of identity sovereignty where the cost of belonging becomes higher than the cost of being alone. You realize that you would rather be lonely in your truth than surrounded by people in a lie. This is the birth of the inner architect. You begin to build a home within yourself that no one can kick you out of. You decorate the walls of your mind with your own ideas, your own values, and your own peace. The sovereign person operates on a different frequency of reciprocity. In the standard social contract, we give to get. We are nice so that people like us. We are helpful so that we are needed. But the person who needs no one gives because they are full, not because they are trying to get full. This makes their kindness authentic and their boundaries impenetrable. They don't people please because there is no fawn response left in their system. If you treat them with disrespect, they don't argue, they don't demand an apology, and they don't try to win you over. They simply subtract themselves from the equation. To them, your disrespect wasn't a challenge to be met, it was information to be processed. They saw the end of the movie in the first 15 minutes, and they decided to leave the theater. This elite pattern recognition is what makes the self-reliant person so effective in high-stakes environments. Because they aren't clouded by the need to be liked, they see the truth of a situation with cold 8K resolution. While everyone else is busy navigating the politics of the room, trying to figure out who has the power and whose favor they need to curry, the sovereign person is looking at the logistics. They are looking at the facts. They possess a trait called low social monitoring. They aren't constantly scanning the faces of others for signs of disapproval. This frees up massive amounts of cognitive energy. Imagine how much more intelligent you become when you stop using 40% of your brain to worry about what people think of you. You become a psychological heavyweight. However, we must distinguish true sovereignty from its shadow, hyper-independence. Many people who need no one are actually operating from a place of deep trauma. If you were let down by every caregiver you ever had, needing no one might be a survival wall rather than a garden fence. True sovereignty isn't a fear of connection. It is a lack of desperation for it. It is the ability to walk into a room and say, "I would love to connect with you, but I don't need to connect with you to be okay." One is a prison. The other is a kingdom. The sovereign person is capable of deep intimacy precisely because they aren't afraid of losing it. They know that if the relationship ends, they still have themselves. They have already survived the worst abandonment, the abandonment of themselves, and they have vowed never to let it happen again. Society will try to gaslight you for this. They will call you cold, arrogant, or avoidant. But what they are really saying is, "I can't find a handle to pull you." They are frustrated that their traditional tools of social control, shame, exclusion, and pressure are bouncing off you like light off a shield. You have become anti-fragile. In the world of finance, an anti-fragile system is one that gets stronger with stress. In the world of psychology, an anti-fragile person is one who uses solitude to sharpen their mind and setbacks to reinforce their soul. You are like the Japanese art of kintsugi. Your breaks have been filled with the gold of self-awareness. You are more beautiful and more durable precisely because you were once broken open and had to put yourself back together without anyone's help. If you are listening to this and you recognize yourself, if you are the person who thrives in the silence, the person who prefers a deep book to a shallow party, the person who has realized that most human drama is just a distraction from the work of the soul, know that you are part of a hidden tribe. You are the evolutionary scout. You are nature's way of ensuring that the human spirit cannot be entirely domesticated. You are the reminder that even in a world of 8 billion people, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with the person in the mirror. Do not apologize for your high threshold for reciprocity. Do not apologize for your zero-tolerance policy for fake personalities. And never apologize for the peace you find in being alone. The world needs more people who cannot be bought, people who cannot be bullied, and people who are not afraid of the wilderness. Because when you love the wilderness, you are finally, truly free. You are no longer a moon spinning around the lives of others. You are the sun, and your light comes from within. If this message resonated with your internal architecture, it's a sign that you are ready to claim your sovereignty. This journey isn't easy. It requires the courage to be misunderstood and the strength to stand alone until you find those who are also standing in their own light. Join us here at Psychology Secrets as we continue to map the hidden landscapes of the mind. Subscribe and activate the bell to ensure you never miss a guide on your path to self-mastery. Leave a comment below with the word sovereign if you've decided to stop looking for a seat at the table and started building your own. We read every word. Stay centered, stay independent, and stay sovereign. I'll see you in the next video.